Welcome back to the Daily Stack. Today, it's September 12th, 2025. This is not financial advice. If it were, I'd be a raccoon in a hoodie whispering, "Buy the dip," outside of Taco Bell at 3 a.m.
Ether in the veins, my wallet got a pulse. Snapping on the charts, I don't miss no results. Flipping meme coins, clown face to a vote. Whales move silent, I just studied the joke. Rug pull, dodger, Houdini with a flex. Contract shady, I dissect every text. Gas fees high, I'm dodging like a vet. Meta match ready, keep the ledgers in check.
Let's get into it. The Fed is hinting at a pivot, inflation is cooling like a microwaved Hot Pocket, and Washington is sprinting to lock down the rules for crypto faster than lobbyists can book steakhouse reservations. Add that to the quiet but powerful surge of institutional money into Ethereum ETFs, and you've got the perfect storm of macro and regulation colliding. Let's stack it. Let's kick things off with a market check-in. Bitcoin flexed above $114,000 today, making bears look like they shorted with monopoly money. Ethereum is holding strong, over 4,400, quietly setting up for its own headline run. And altcoin casino? Pure chaos. Bonk, Wolf, and Wojak came alive like somebody just shouted free liquidity. And if you thought we were still in the boring chop phase, today's charts say otherwise. Inflation cooldown and rate cuts. So here's the deal. The US dropped CPI and PPI numbers this week, and for once, the data didn't look like the economy was having a heat stroke. Inflation is cooling, not gone, not cured, but definitely easing. That's all the markets needed to start pricing in rate cuts. Traders immediately whipped out their FedWatch charts like they were reading tea leaves. And the odds of September or October cut just shot up. Wall Street heard cooling inflation and instantly acted like Powell had already fired up the money printer. Why does this matter for crypto? Because when rates fall, the dollar loosens, liquidity returns, and risk assets, they rip. And crypto isn't just a risk asset, it's the risk asset. That's why Bitcoin punched through 114K like it was cardboard. And Ethereum, same story. Retail sees rate cuts trending on social media, and suddenly Coinbase downloads spike. The macro backdrop is shifting, and crypto's the kid in the room who benefits the most when mom and dad stop tightening the belt. The US cryptos sprint. Meanwhile, in Washington, the regulators are sprinting like their careers depend on it. The SEC and CFTC, the Treasury, they're all jockeying to be the one holding the whistle when the crypto game starts. Congress is actively debating market structure. The SEC wants to slap the security label on as many tokens as it can, while the CFTC is arguing for commodity status. Exchanges are caught in the middle, basically begging for someone to make a final call, so they don't need an army of lawyers just to list a meme coin. Tokenization is suddenly front and center thanks to Figure's IPO. Wall Street proved it wants tokenized real-world assets. Yesterday, not tomorrow. Lawmakers can't ignore it anymore. They're now drafting frameworks for tokenized real estate, bonds, and, well, tokenized everything. If it exists, it's going on chain. And then there's stablecoins. With the Genius Act and the Clarity Act already signed, the regulators are now hammering out the rules. What reserves look like, what disclosures look like, and how banks are going to integrate them. The goal is clear. Make stablecoins boring, safe, and too big to ignore. Exactly the way institutions like them. This isn't whack-a-mole era of 2017. This is a sprint to write the rules of the next financial system. So now line it up. Rate cuts on one side, regulatory clarity on the other. Cheap money meets green lights. That's not just bullish, it's pure jet fuel. Institutions suddenly get two things they've been begging for: liquidity and legal clarity. That opens the door to trillions of dollars in tokenized assets flowing onto blockchain rails. Imagine treasuries, mortgages, and even equities being traded on Ethereum like they're just another altcoin. Imagine global trades setting in US regulated stablecoins that move at the speed of the internet. That's the scenario these two forces are building towards, and crypto is sitting dead center. And speaking of Ethereum, here's the sleeper story. While Bitcoin hogs the spotlight, Ethereum ETFs have been quietly pulling in serious inflows. We're talking billions of dollars a week in steady institutional onboarding demand. Not flashy, not parabolic, but consistently relentless. This is exactly what Ethereum needed. It's been lagging Bitcoin all cycle, and the biggest knock was that Ethereum didn't have a big, shiny catalyst. Well, now it does. Institutions finally have a clean, regulated pipeline to buy ETH at scale. Combine that with Washington's tokenization sprint, and Ethereum isn't just playing catch-up. It's securing its spot as the rails for the financial system 2.0. BlackRock already hinted that their tokenization pilots are leaning towards Ethereum rails. That's not a meme. That's the largest asset manager in the world basically saying, yeah, we're going to use ETH. And if Bitcoin is digital gold, Ethereum is shaping up to be the digital interstate system. Now that we got that out of the way, let's slide over to meme coin mayhem. And of course, the meme coins, they loved all of this. Bonk barked, Wolf howled, and Wojak smiled for once. And a random frog token probably did 50% candle just because Powell sneezed. That's the meme coin ecosystem in a nutshell. Macro shifts trickled down into frog memes. So somewhere right now, a degen is telling his friends, bro, it's basically the same trade as ETH, and somehow in this market, he's not even wrong. And now that brings us to the tip of the day. Don't just track charts. Track the macro calendar and ETF flows. The Fed's decisions can pump harder than any influencer's call, and institution inflows are the new on-chain metrics. If you aren't watching both, you're trading with half the screen turned off. So there's your daily stack. Inflation cools, the Fed gears up for cuts, Washington sprints to regulate, and Ethereum ETFs are quietly stacking billions. This is the moment where macro, policy, and markets all converge. And crypto's not just along for the ride. It is the ride. Only ever click the official hardware link in the episode description. Skip Discord promos, Twitter DMs, or meme giveaway hypes. Your keys remain sacred. Stack smart, stack daily. And I'll see you degens tomorrow.
Though hustle, stack it, never fumble. Digits double and make the bag rumble. Crypto hustle, stack it, never fumble. Digits double and make the bag rumble.